I don't understand the hate toward 90 Day Fiancé's Jasmine and her open marriage. 90 Day Fiancé's Jasmine Pineda has received a lot of heat lately about her open marriage with Matt Brownies from both fans and other stars, but I'm failing to miss the true issue here. Almost as soon as the 90 Day Fiancé franchise couple got married, their relationship fell apart, and Gino Palazzolo stopped being intimate with Jasmine. The lack of intimacy, as well as many other issues in their relationship, caused a rift between the two that landed them on the newest spin-off, 90 Day, The Last Resort. During The Last Resort, the couple was supposed to work on their intimacy and communication issues. Instead, Jasmine proposed an open marriage. In her mind, an open marriage would satisfy her sexual needs, thus improving her attitude enough to cohabitate and get along well with her husband. Unfortunately, the open marriage resulted in an unplanned baby and Jasmine and Gino's ultimate demise. While I understand the situation is not the norm for most, I think the hate is a little overboard, and the attacks from stars like Rob Warren were uncalled for. 90 Day Fiancé's Gino and Jasmine are consenting adults. The first and most important point I have regarding their situation is that Jasmine and Gino are consenting adults, and they agreed to an open marriage. In general, I think this alone negates most negative arguments about their open marriage. They're both over 30 years old, so it's not like they're still young with developing brains. Jasmine didn't go behind anyone's back, to the best of our knowledge, anyway. Plus, Gino had time to think about opening their marriage. In fact, they spent most of The Last Resort discussing a potential open relationship, and, in the end, they came up with terms and agreed to it. Gino established his boundaries, such as using protection and disclosing locations, and decided the open marriage was worth a shot. I understand that after some time and after Jasmine got pregnant, his feelings changed, but in my opinion, remorse isn't enough to essentially defame Jasmine's name. 90 Day Fiancé's Gino is not being accountable. My next biggest issue is Gino's lack of accountability for his role in this situation. I understand Gino might have felt pressured, but he was stonewalling Jasmine. Gino refused to give Jasmine even an inch, he barely wanted to hug her. Yes, he did turn down the open marriage initially, but he also made zero efforts to fix the issues in their marriage. By the time they got married, I truly questioned if Gino loved his wife because, unless they had plans to have a child together, he didn't want any sort of intimacy with Jasmine. I understand Jasmine's reactions can be daunting, but I also think she practiced a lot of patience by waiting almost a whole year before asking for an open marriage to satisfy her needs. Even the counselor, Reba Thomas, mentioned that it didn't make sense for Gino to consider an open marriage while refusing to think about what he needed to be intimate with Jasmine again. Overall, I think he made no effort to reconnect with his wife, and I was appalled to see some of their interactions behind the scenes, but Gino keeps finding a way to excuse himself from this behavior. Overall, I think the hate Jasmine is receiving is unjust. I especially think the hate coming from a star like Rob, who was caught cheating on their partner, is laughable. In The Last Resort, Reba claimed that people who regularly cheat are often triggered by open relationships, and I wonder if that's the case for stars like Rob. In the end, it's Gino and Jasmine's relationship. They're adults, and they agreed to an open relationship. It's okay to have regrets or to learn from mistakes, so to speak, but I still don't understand the disregard for the 90 Day Fiancé star. 90 Day, The Last Resort is available to stream on Max in the US. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Jasmine and Natalie argue, Andre accused of losing $75,000. On 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Jasmine and Natalie came face to face. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, airs Sundays at 8 p.m. Pacific Time/Eastern Time on TLC. 90 Day Fiancé's Jasmine finally met Gino's new girlfriend, and I have strong feelings about his family setting it up. Warning: the following contains spoilers for the 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After episode. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Stream it with an HBO Max subscription and read at your own risk. We've known for quite a while that Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo were one of the latest 90 Day Fiancé couples to split after marriage, but that hasn't stopped it from becoming some of the most compelling drama in Happily Ever After. Season 9. That trend continued in the latest episode when Jasmine finally met Gino's girlfriend Natalie, but I can't help but question how it went down. Weeks after Gino told his soon-to-be ex-wife he wanted a divorce, he invited Natalie to Michigan to attend his cousin's birthday party. Admittedly, it might be the lamest way to highlight the fun of living in the Midwestern state, but what had me shaking my head is that his family decided to invite Jasmine for what became a heated event. Jasmine's arrival went exactly how we expected it to. If it wasn't painfully apparent that Natalie walked into a setup after listening to the wild line of questioning Gino's cousin had for the two of them, it should have been when Jasmine was already hurling insults at Natalie the second she walked in the door. She called her a stripper and a whore, and almost immediately, the two women started going at it. Natalie eventually walked out the door while Jasmine continued to scream whore as she exited. In her confession, Jasmine stated she had no idea she would react that way, but I find that incredibly hard to believe. 90 Day Fiancé fans knew this was coming because Jasmine has a pretty extensive history of causing a scene in tense moments, especially when cameras are rolling. She's had knockdown dragouts with Gino, threatened Natalie Mordovtseva, and even threw down with Rob Warren when she was pregnant. In fairness, that last fight took place after the battle with Gino's girlfriend was filmed, but I think everyone, including Gino's family, knew how this was going to go. Gino's family shouldn't have invited one or the other to the party. Breakups are tough, and I get there are times where everyone has to come together as adults and be there for the greater good. That said, this wasn't one of those times. Jasmine and Gino are in the midst of starting a divorce, months after he kicked her out of their home for her relationship with Matt Branasterianu, and he just brought his new girlfriend to meet the family for the first time. If anyone was convinced inviting them both would go smoothly, I'd be shocked. For that reason, I have to believe that 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, deliberately set this whole scene up specifically for entertainment value. In a rational world, either Jasmine would have opted not to go, or Gino would have decided he wouldn't attend. At the end of the day, we're talking about a random birthday dinner for an adult cousin. Not to call myself out too much here, but I can't remember the last time that I attended birthday festivities for any of my cousin's special days. Part of me just wants to believe the whole thing was a scripted moment all 90 Day Fiancé participants were in on, because if not, I feel so bad for Natalie. She didn't ask to be pulled into any of this, and she didn't fly into Michigan on her dime to be called a whore in front of her boyfriend's entire family by his ex-wife. If my significant other set me up for something like that, I wouldn't be dating them anymore. We'll see if Natalie feels the same way as new episodes of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After continue on TLC on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch up now on HBO Max, or just rewatch the wild showdown that went on during the Palazzolo family gathering. Mick Jost is a content producer for Cinema Blend with his hand in an eclectic mix of television goodness. Star Trek is his main jam, but he also regularly reports on happenings in the world of Star Trek, WWE, Doctor Who, 90 Day Fiancé, Quantum Leap, and Big Brother. He graduated from the University of Southern Indiana with a degree in journalism and a minor in radio and television. He's great at hosting panels and appearing on podcasts if given the chance as well. Why 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After Season 9 premiere has me really confused about the state of Gino and Jasmine's relationship. Warning: the following contains spoilers for the 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After Season 9 premiere. Welcome to the party, pal. Stream it with a Max subscription and read at your own risk. 90 Day Fiancé veterans Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo have been through the ringer in this franchise, and after Season 2 of The Last Resort revealed where the couple stood, it seemed like their marriage in particular was finally over. Yet, there they were as a couple for the Happily Ever After Season 9 premiere, which leaves me very confused about what's actually going on with them. For those who didn't tune into their last appearance, Gino agreed to some open marriage stipulations so that Jasmine could sleep with another man, Matt, which resulted in her getting pregnant with Matt's child. Gino was understandably distraught over what happened, and the latest Happily Ever After premiere picked up after all that drama, laying out the confusing way they're labeling their relationship after all of that. Jasmine and Gino are both seeing other people and not living together. As we've seen in past updates on social media, Jasmine has moved out of Gino's home and has been either living with Matt or on her own in Florida. 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after revealed he threw her out of the house, and she's living with Matt when the story picks up.